What's up, you guys? You thought I was going to leave you hanging with this one? Not a chance. We got props and parlays coming your guys' way for the huge UFC 314 fight card. If you're new here, I'm going to give you guys about 3 prop bets to target with me here for the UFC 314 fight card. I'm going to put together a long shot parlay at the end of the video. It's going to be somewhere up in the plus 1,000 to plus 1,500 type range. If you guys want to tail me on that as well. And all fighters made weight essentially this morning. Okay, and I say essentially because the only fighter that missed weight was Nora Cornell, which we really weren't too worried if she made weight or not. Okay, that fight right there between her and Haley Cowan is without a doubt the least anticipated fight on the card. You know, and that doesn't mean that we don't want to see those two chicks throw down. We want it, okay? And the fight is still taking place. Nora will have to sacrifice 20% of her purse, but we were worried about Jean Silva potentially missing weight, which that fight should have still went through. There shouldn't have been an issue there. I don't know why everybody on Instagram was flipping out this morning when Jean Silva initially came in 1 pound over. Okay, that's what I had to wake up today to, rubbing the crust out of my eyes, stressing out for probably my most anticipated fight on the card, potentially not taking place. But then I put my brain on, and I like I said, I opened my eyes. I'm like, wait a second, the fight's still going to go on regardless. And obviously, Jean Silva was going to shed that pound. I mean, you saw him with all that energy there. You knew he was going to go back to the drawing board. He had time. So we're excited for this fight card. Guys, if you want to tail me on my official targets for this card, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I got my IG and my email popping up below. You guys can shoot me a message. I'll give you further details there. I got 8 official plays locked in with 27.5 units out and about. Okay, I'm looking to clean up once again on a big pay-per-view event. All right, we did tremendous on UFC 313. I'm looking to rise to the occasion on these big cards. So, and I expect that to be the case for sure. So if you want to work with me, reach out to me. Guys, if you're not following me on IG, you're missing the MMA skits, the UFC skits that I'm doing. I did a pretty funny one. I found it funny. I mean, I crack up to them after I make them myself, but it's in regards to the fight card. This fight card, go check that out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm on IG at mmafortuneteller. And with no further ado, let's go talk some props and parlays.
The teller.
First fight I'm going to talk about is a middleweight bout between Said Dumas and Michal Oleksiejczak. The word on the street is that Dumas is bringing the hood with him over to the Kaseya arena. And hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, because I know there's a couple dozen of you guys that just love to analyze the way I pronounce certain words. You guys, it's just the way I speak sometimes. You know what I mean? I really don't take the time to be super articulate with the words. You guys just know I know what I'm talking about. All right, take my word for it. I'm the teller, guys. All right, I like to kind of just slang these words out of my mouth at times. You know, Cedric Dumas. This is a fighter. I believe he's overachieved quite a bit, but at the same time, we can't completely overlook the fact that he has some talent dating back to that submission victory that he had over Matej Panaz on DWCS. Since then, no finishes for him when he's winning fights. But you take a look at his 2 losses, and he was finished in both of them, right? Josh Fremd caught him with the sub in the second round, and then there was the Rozaboyev KO that happened early on in the first. I think that was a little alarming to an extent. I know Rozaboyev is an aggressive fighter that can knock people out. That's what he does. But still, the way he was caught, I do believe that Oleksiejczak can potentially replicate some of that. If you remember what Oleksiejczak just did to Chidi Njokuani in the first round, I mean, Oleksiejczak will bring the fight. He pushes the pace early on. He's fluid with his boxing. I could see him getting a KO. But to flip the script, we also have seen that Michal is vulnerable to being subbed. And I know it's been against higher level fighters, although even though Holland, I believe, is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, he doesn't typically get a lot of subs. You could say that's somewhat alarming, the way that it happened so quickly too, in just over a minute and a half. I think it's not out of the realm that Oleksiejczak can get overly aggressive and get caught in a sub. And at the end of the day, I think that this is a fight that's going to have a high pace to it. And something is telling me we're going to see a finish in this fight. So let's go see what we can catch over there. Let's see if we can catch some plus action, which the under 1.5 rounds opened up at plus 140. It was at minus 105, right? Almost at pick 'em odds. It goes back up to plus 120. Okay, so we saw action coming in it, but then people are kind of second guessing themselves. I'm putting my feet in the dirt here. Okay, I'm sticking with my initial gut. I feel that it's a decent value line as you're getting plus odds on it. I just think we're going to see a finish here. If you want to play it a little safer, you could look for the under 2.5 rounds, which that line opened up at -200 and now is at -165. I like the fact that that line's trending the opposite way because I like the finish there. And the under 2.5, you're essentially getting the entire fight. I think that that is a target you want to keep an eye on. And guys, do not forget, as we're taking a look at the Bovada line movement here, if anyone is looking to sign up to bovada.lv, if you reach out to me and you sign up through my referral link, I will give you my entire UFC 314 slate for free, my entire betting package for free. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. You'll get an additional bonus added to your account when you start that up as well. And then we got this crazy matchup here between the 25-year-old Chase Hooper, who's taking on the 41-year-old Jim Miller, of course, at 155. This is an intriguing matchup. Chase Hooper's been looking really good as he's starting to mature as a fighter, and he still has so many more years to mature. Imagine him when he's 30. I really have bought in to the hype of Hooper. I think he's the real deal. Take a look at Jimbo, though, man. I mean, all the experience that he has, but take a look at the losses specifically. 18 losses. He hasn't been finished very often. 13 of his 18 losses have come by way of decision. We saw him recently take a battering from Bobby Green, never looked for a way out. I know he's getting up there in age, but I think that he's still as tough as ever. And I got a couple curveballs I could throw your guys' way in regards to some bets for this fight. And I'm kind of on the fence between two. And you guys let me know what you think here. So the first I'll bring up, circling back to what I was just saying, as Jim Miller is pretty damn hard to finish. How about Hooper to win this fight via unanimous decision at plus 275? And that's what it is on Bovada, but I've seen it as high as plus 325. Okay, that's what it is on Bet Online. Okay, you're getting a fighter that's right around a -900 to win this fight, which I think those odds are a little out of hand, but I do have Hooper confidently winning this fight. I like what I've seen. You're getting a -900 fighter now at plus 325 or at plus 275. As long as he just doesn't find that finish, I think that there's some value there. Or you can go the opposite route, right? And what we were initially talking about was the fact that Hooper has looked so damn good, and we know his jiu-jitsu is just so elite. What do you guys think about this? Okay, and I'm leaning more towards the other way. Okay, but I'll throw this out there as well if anybody wants to target this. Hooper to win this fight via TKO/KO. We see the striking developing. All right, we saw him drop Slava Borashev. He's so long, he's so rangy for this division. He's going to have a huge size advantage. We saw Miller eating a lot of damage on the feet against Bobby Green. He's 41 years old. He maybe breaks down. Or the other X factor is that with Chase Hooper's high-level BJJ, even though Miller's high-level too, we may see Hooper just dominate him down there, solidify position, and just unload with ground and pound. Okay, Miller may be stubborn and just not open up to be subbed, and maybe we just see Miller get TKO'd with blood everywhere. We may see him bloodied up again, because that's been a common theme. If you look at his recent fights, I mean, he's taken a lot of damage, win or lose. He's always bloodied up, and the ref may be eager to step in. All right, so what do you guys think about that line? But again, I am favoring Chase Hooper to win this fight via unanimous decision at right around plus 300. I like that one a little bit better, but you guys let me know which one you think is the better target there. All right, guys, before we get to the massive parlay, all right, I got to throw you something a little new here. For a card like this, we got to do something special. All right, so we're on that last prop target, but what I actually want to do is I'm going to kind of combine 3 prop targets in one here. Okay, they're all taking place on the main card. We're looking at the unders on 3 fights here. Okay, guys, and we'll jump to the odds here in a second, but I like the under in the Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes fight. I like the under in the Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull fight. And, we're going to kind of talk about a little bit of a different under because it's a 5-round fight, but I do like an under in the Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes fight. All right, so I'm saying we're going to see an action-packed main card. All right, let's pull up first and foremost the Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes fight, which you can get the under 1.5 right around plus 105 to plus 130. Right around that range is what we're seeing. It opened up at plus 135. Okay, so we do see action coming in on it. You heard Krylov at the press conference. He said, when does he ever not bring the fight? specifically early on. He'll never have a feeling out process. And if you watch tape on him, that is the way that he fights. Dominic Reyes has fight ending ability as well, but I still have major question marks about his chin. I like the under in that fight there. All right, then we scroll up to the Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull fight, which the under 1.5 is at a ridiculous plus 230 line. Okay, so this is more of a value type target. I think we could easily see a KO early on in this fight. You're talking about two devastating knockout artists. Pitbull, I love him, but he was knocked out early on just recently, right, in the fight prior to his last, which he had the bounce back victory. The fight prior, he went out to Japan, he got KO'd. He's up there in age. We know Rodriguez is a phenom with his striking, but I also could see Pitbull easily countering him or just breaking him down before that halfway marker. So at plus 230, I like that. That's a value target. And then that will take us up to the main event where I'm talking about another under. Okay, but we're going to go up the board a little bit here. I'm going to say I like the under 3.5. You can go under 2.5 at plus 180 as well, which was at plus 200. You see that action coming in on that. I mean, you get to test Volkanovski's chin early on, but at the same time, you give Volkanovski some time to work to see if he could set up a finish in his own right. Maybe he shows to be the superior fighter. If you guys didn't catch my full prediction video, I am on the Lopes side. I think that Lopes is going to break Volkanovski down or just catch him early on is really what I meant to say. He's going to catch him early on, but I think that Lopes will have more success in this fight later on than he's getting credit for. People are talking about the fact that he has no cardio. Dude's been training up at altitude. Okay, he just had that one fight against Denige where he was up 2 rounds and kind of coasted in the third. You take a look at Diego Lopes's work inside the UFC, or really throughout his entire career. He's not a fighter that has bad cardio. I say he has plus cardio. Okay, I disagree with a lot of you guys. In the Ortega fight, in the 3rd round, that was his most active round in the 3rd. He picked up the pace as that fight went on. The Movsar Evloev fight, that was a fight that he took on short notice and looked phenomenal all throughout it. I know he took an L there, but against the caliber of fighter of Movsar, he was still scrapping in the 3rd round. I think he's a fighter that has a gas tank. I really do. I think people are overanalyzing this Dan Ige fight. He was up already 2 mil, and all he had to do is just coast there and training at altitude. I love the energy that Lopes brings. You saw him at the press conference. I love his energy, man. He's standing on business. All right. I don't really know the whole specifics. If anybody wants to clarify about Yair, I read up on it a little bit, but I like Lopes's energy a lot more than Yair's. Okay. Yair, he comes off to me a little bit like a head case. That's the vibes I get from him. And I like head cases. You know, I'm all about the craziness and all that, but he's kind of like, something's off with him. He's just a little weird and he's like angry and all the time. And Lopes, he's kind of calm, cool, and collected, but which I'm not the biggest fan of guys that are like that, but I do like the guys that are like that, but they can also hit it to that next level. They could drop gears. Okay. If you could be calm, cool, and collected, but also spice things up when it's needed, you're the exact type of guy I like. In fact, that's how I consider myself to be. So I like those kind of guys, right? You kind of come off like you're just this nice guy, but little do people know the extent you're willing to take things to. And I get a little bit of that energy from Lopes. And for the record, Lopes smashes Rodriguez inside the octagon. Okay, forget about like outside, what happened there, who's crazier and whatnot. Lopes smashes Rodriguez in the octagon. He has a way better fighting spirit. Yair is more of a front runner. In my opinion, a very talented striker. But Yair is great. Maybe I'm being a little hard on him, but Lopes would smash him. And I hope we get to see that fight take place down the line. Obviously, Yair needs to get a W. Okay, he hasn't even been winning fights, and Lopes is fighting for the belt right now. But there are a couple situations that could happen where we could potentially see something happen there. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to whip up a parlay, a long shot parlay. All right, guys, let's see what we have to work with here. Speaking of the devil, let's kick this thing off with a nice juicy, we'll get it at plus 120 here. To be fair, depending on what line you can get, but that's on DraftKings right now. Diego Lopes is the first leg of the massive parlay. Now, that may have turned a lot of you guys off right off the rip. I don't care, though. We got to get these odds stacking up. I like Lopes. From there, let's throw in that under 1.5 that we were talking about earlier between Reyes and Krylov. I like that right there. That's going to bump us all the way up to a plus 373. All right, so we're cooking off the rip. Who else should we throw in here? We can't really throw a Hooper minus 900 line. That's ridiculous. We could throw a little Sean Woodson in there. How about a little Woodson? That brings us up to plus 643. Let's scroll up to some of the prelims. Take a look at some of these prelims we got going on here. Oleksiejczuk, we talked a little bit about how I like him in that spot. We like the under, but I really do like Oleksiejczuk overall. Let's throw him there at minus 190. And I think we're going to settle in with that. Okay, that's a plus 1,034 you're getting, right? You throw $100 on that, and you got over a G in your pocket, roughly, depending on what lines you can get, though. That's a big parlay. Now, I'm going to leave that there. We're going to add one more play to bump it up for anyone that's looking for a spicier parlay, but that's the official. It's a 4-team super parlay for you guys. So that's the one we're really seeing if it cashes. And then for all you that just want a little bit more juice in your drink, let's throw in Marco Tulio. That'll bump you up to a plus 1,333. All right, guys, for any of you that want a little bit more juice there. All right, so those are the parlays that we're looking to hit. All right, guys, hopefully this event's going to be crazy. Don't forget, guys, if you want my official targets, reach out to me through email or IG. It's been popping up periodically below me, and shoot me a DM. I'll give you some further information. And if anybody signs up through my referral link to BOVATA, you guys will get my entire slate for free, and you'll get an added bonus to your account, guys. So those are on the table. I wish you guys all a great weekend. You guys know I truly wish the best for all of you. I don't need to sit here on the mic saying it every time, but you guys know that. You longtime listeners, I hope you guys have a blast this weekend. All right. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, great fights, beautiful weather. What else can we say, guys? There's nothing else to say. Actually, the only thing else that we could say is signing out. Teller.
The teller.